see my, and if not, let me know. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So today's course is going to be all about Facebook, all the fun stuff, you know, the who, what, when, where, whys. And the first part that we're going to go over, you got a little sneak preview as I was screwing up my slides there before, but is the statistics. So we're going to start off with the why. Why do we care about Facebook? What are some of the upcoming tips, trends? I got a whole bunch of stuff for you guys today. So let me move this little chat window out of my view there. Okay, so love it or hate it, Facebook's here to stay. Call it Meta, call it whatever you want. Facebook, that's what we're going to title this one today. So as the largest social media platform, it now boasts 2.8 billion monthly active users across the globe. Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk on this. They're in the technology world. So as a technology company, you're actually based on this whole unit called MAUs, monthly active users. So it is by far the biggest app out there, the most used app at 2.8 billion monthly active users. They actually have, I think, over 3 billion accounts now. But again, they're not active on the actual platform. Not all of them are active monthly. So the key to success, and this really applies to any social media platform, is you really have to understand your target audience. I put that little plug in here because we're going to talk about it like 15 times today. So if you don't get that by the end of this, we probably need to sit down and go over your individual circumstance. But looking at your individual target audience is going to be so critical to your guys' success in 2022. So before we get into some of the other stuff, let's talk about the statistics here. Ad revenue, if you wanted to know, that's how they make their money. That's last 12 months was $85 billion. Yeah, that's a ton of money. And in fact, the number one thing, I'll put a little funny little plug in here for Apple. Apple's new little plug, like they now, you can't track Apple devices. So they now let users toggle what information gets shared and what doesn't on iPhones and Apple products, if you didn't know that. And that cut into their ad revenue by like 30%. So of course, Apple users, statistically a little bit more tech advanced. Most of them went in once they realized they had these settings, and once they hit the media, they went in and turned their ad trackings off. And so unfortunately, if Facebook can't track you, it really makes it difficult for ads to target you. Hence, they lost a ton of money. So again, with that said, they still made $85 billion. So let's not get carried away there. Others, 2020, Facebook saw 57% growth. I mentioned this because you got to thank COVID for that, I guess. Facebook was loving that. So, you know, fortunate silver lining in there. They saw a huge, and really all social media platforms. This was really kind of the ushering into social that we saw with society, that almost everybody seemingly is on social media now. To that point, 69% of Americans use Facebook, 42% of American teens use Facebook. 73% of US adults visit Facebook every single day. That's crazy. And again, that is 73% of the 69% of Americans that use it. 98% of Facebook users access from the mobile device. So again, that's at least at some point. Doesn't mean they never log on their desktop. Just the vast majority of us use Facebook on the mobile app. It's much more efficient. 30% of Facebook audience is under 25. That is actually a huge slide for them. The younger demographics, the under 25 demographics was their strongest base. But obviously, as that base aged, now their strongest base is 25 to 34 and 35 to 45. So fewer and fewer teens are joining this. Facebook just came out the other day, and Zuckerberg made this huge revelation that TikTok is really kicking their butts. So again, that shows you where the younger demographics are going. Right now, we're up to 5% of seniors, 65 plus, that are on Facebook. Believe it or not, that's a huge jump from like 0.8%. So that is Facebook's largest growing demographic. Sadly, though, it's not keeping up with their losses in the under 25 market. So Facebook's got a few things that they're working on right now to fix this. Next up, so we're going to get into the next few slides are really going to be about how to get the most out of this. Some of you guys may have a business page. So, you know, some of this may apply obviously on this slide, some may not. What I would hope that you guys get out of this today is as you're going through these, again, just take little nuggets. Hopefully you can apply something of these 16 slides that we're going to go over. Hopefully you can apply something to your business and really capitalize on this. I will also tell you, I was really excited to actually show you some Facebook stuff live, and unfortunately, I got myself blocked. So there will be no live Facebook demonstrations today. But if you guys need or have any questions, of course, I can always pull up your profile in a one-on-one session. We can go from there. So let's talk about your business page. Believe it or not, there's still a ton of businesses out there that are using their personal profiles as their business page. And that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no with Facebook for a few reasons. Now, first of all, where some people think, oh, well, you know what, I'm doing just fine. You know, that's perception. Chances are you're actually probably missing out on a lot of stuff because, again, there's really some key differences between a business page and a personal page. So really a personal page should always support a business page. There's nothing wrong with sharing your business posts, you know, inviting your friends and family to like your business page. Like those are all acceptable uses of a personal profile. But really at the end of the day, you need to have a business page because we're going to talk about why how Facebook algorithm works with fans, all sorts of stuff. So tons of good content coming up. But your fans you can obviously read the slide here. You know, there's a ton of benefits to it. So pro tips are this. Make sure on your business Facebook page that you've claimed your vanity URL. So we're going to talk about this a lot, is making sure that your profile is completed in its entirety. They have actually a really easy setup process and it walks you through the steps. And I would tell you, don't just breeze through them. Don't just enter something in to get on to the next step. Really take your time, really work through this because I promise you it'll be worth its weight in gold in the end. A complete profile works to Facebook's advantage or algorithms into how they promote you and what they show. So again, the logic or the I guess common sense approach that they take there is that somebody who invests the time into making sure that they're utilizing all the tools and services that Facebook offers will typically provide a user a better experience. And that's really what 2022 is all about. Doesn't matter if it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Google, everybody is all about the experience right now. So pro tips, claim your vanity URL page. That's simply the facebook.com/Trinity Chiropractic. That would be a vanity URL. So again, and that's a part of the setup process. So you'll run right into it if you haven't already. The other one, pro tip, make sure your channel art is amazing. It needs to be eye-catching. You can use video, dynamic images. For our business profile, we use obviously our logo and then some of our support partners or platforms that we utilize to show depth. You guys can show something completely different. But again, videos are really, really, really awesome right now. You can upload a video, or if you don't have a video, a dynamic photo. Those are all great. People love to see locations, love to see interactions with patients, all that fun stuff. So if you need some more tips there, I can certainly help you. Another real awesome tool that you can use if you don't already is Canva. Some of you, I know like Cheryl or Trinity, I know she uses it, but if you don't know about it, Canva, canva.com. It's a free tool. Obviously, there are paid versions, which we have, that we get a few more things and a few more resources. But again, for most people, you can use the free version and tons and tons and tons of opportunity there. Like you can create and it'll actually size your images, size your channel art appropriately. So like I said, we can walk through that if you need, but Canva is a phenomenal tool to use if you're just getting started. Add a recognizable profile picture. A lot of times with businesses, obviously we want to focus on the logo. I will give you some just some suggestions on there. Sometimes if you have a really big logo, and again, Cheryl, I'm going to pick on you a lot today, I'm sorry. But if you had Trinity Chiropractic and it was labeled out Trinity Chiropractic all on one line, that's going to be really hard to fit in a profile image, that little thumbnail there. And so you're going to want to make sure that you resize your images or resize your logos to fit appropriately. So that means having different versions of your logo. Now for you, if your brand requirements say, no, we can't do that, or no, we don't want to do that, we might have to look for some alternatives. Common with like medical practices, we'll feature the doctor, something like that. If there's a predominant staff member that draws a lot of traffic in, again, having their faces there. Staff photos are typically tough to see because again, if you have more than one head, then it's kind of hard on a profile picture there. But again, have a little bit of fun with this. But the most important thing is make sure that profile picture, that thumbnail is recognizable. We don't want something that just doesn't attract attention. Again, you got one shot to make a great first impression. The other one is going to be optimizing the about section. So again, I can't stress this enough. Make sure you run through Facebook's setup process. And if you've already done it, go back through and make sure you re-optimize. Things change within our businesses, right? Hours of operation. Again, websites typically don't, but maybe you changed your URL recently. But just like I said, go through that periodically. Make sure everything is up to date. Make sure you're giving your clients the best possible experience on this. Next up, probably one of the most common questions we get: what should we be posting? This, again, got to be really super clear on this one. It comes down to knowing your customer or your target audience. So an example that I give is that if you're targeting, let's just say a 25 and under, right? Then what do you think you would be posting? You need to ask these critical questions of yourself. Is that what is a 25-year-old going to get out of what we offer, our products or services, versus a 65-year-old? Again, those are two completely different demographics. I can tell you this: a 25 and under, they're going to want dynamic images. They are absolutely going to be attracted to that image. They won't read anything unless that image captured their attention. Now, a 65-year-old, they're going to focus a lot on the content. And so I would highly encourage, again, just depending on the demographic, that's going to dictate what you're going to post, how often you're going to post, so on and so forth. So fact is, people don't engage with things that don't catch their eye. So average Facebook user, they scroll so fast. I can tell you, if I'm on mine, I'm swiping up, I'm thumbing through my feed real quick. And honestly, it's so easy just to overlook things. And, we have so many ads in our Facebook feeds now, for the businesses that are just posting organically, it can be really, really, really tough to capture somebody's attention. So again, videos, images, and wrap it up with some quality content. That's going to be your key to success. As it pertains to Facebook's algorithm, at the end of the day, how visible your posts are in news feeds all comes down to the quality of your posts. So believe it or not, there's an algorithm behind that that's checking your content. It's checking your images. Like there's a lot to this, guys. So I will tell you, just make sure that you're taking your time with this stuff. Don't rush through it. Make sure you're hitting it with quality. That's the biggest thing. These algorithms, they're meant to filter out the irrelevant or poor quality posts. And a poor quality post is, and you can see them. You can tell when a company is doing something, they don't know the business. And I'm referring to like a marketing agency. When they don't know that business, they don't know that particular target audience, and they're just posting stuff. Again, something is better than nothing. I will give you that. But again, you just want to make sure that if you're trying to succeed at social, you want the highest quality anything that's going to get users to engage. To piggyback on that, diversify your posts. So again, 2022, all about education and storytelling. So if you took my last class, which was about just tips for success for 2022, we harped a lot on storytelling here. So storytelling, education, same thing. People want to know the why should I buy story. They want to know more about the products and services. You got to educate people. And so again, don't be afraid to go into detail on things. Some people would argue, well, that's really not, people don't want to read a book on Facebook. You're right. You're going to have to find a way to summarize that into a paragraph, something that's eye-catching. Maybe you summarize things and you do a nice little link over to your website that allows people a better experience to read more if they choose to. Like I said, it's anything to keep our business top of mind. So it can be difficult for some businesses, but I will tell you, it's worth the effort to do. Okay, so here's just some ideas that you guys can post on. Featured key staff and leadership. Those are always good ones. Again, if you're a chiropractor, featuring the doctor, talking about years of experience, specialty, so on and so forth. Got to be careful with that word specialty, but you get the idea. If you're any type of service-based business, anything on your different services, and this can be really easy or really complicated, but I will tell you, have a solid foundation with your website first, and then take that and then obviously cross-share or cross-promote into social media channels. So always take a look at the website. Your website and Facebook or any social media platform should work hand in hand. They should complement each other. So if you don't have it on your website, don't go and post stuff on it on social media. Update your website first, and then make sure that you can cross-share that information. Other fun ones: client testimonials, relative news or industry information, motivational posts and quotes are awesome. Blog content. So a lot of clients will ask, well, hey, we're producing all these blogs. What do I do with it? Well, obviously you want it on your website, but great option to share on social. So most people will miss that for some reason. Images of the store, products, neighborhoods, customers, little descriptors associated with them. FAQs, Q&As, polls. Again, great engagement features there. So like I said, there's tons and tons and tons of stuff that you guys can do. It's just really about thinking outside the box and what you can do to create engagement. I will also point out, and I did in this bullet point too, community service projects and charity involvement. That's that whole sense of community or humanizing your brand. So I would highly encourage that. Again, a lot of people say, well, I just do that to give back, and that's really it. I don't really want to promote that. The marketing guy, he's very selfish, and the marketing guy tells you we need to promote that to, attract attention to the business. Again, I understand the benevolent agenda, and that's totally cool, but the marketing guy needs that stuff. So again, don't be afraid to share that stuff. If your staff, great ones, donating blood, puppies and babies, sell everything. So again, I can give you tons of ideas on that, and I can tell you, Chambers of Commerce, everybody can, there's tons of nonprofits in there. So if you need some ideas, like I said, get engaged. I will give a selfish plug to Cheryl on this one. She's actually really, really good about this. She does a quarterly business. They give back so much to the community. But again, that I'm sure she can attest to this. It's a huge part of their success as an organization or as a business is that give back. So that humanizing the brand is a huge, huge, huge thing. So I'll get off my soapbox there and we'll continue. Next up, when should I be posting? And that one, again, another common question, no perfect answer. And I hate to say this, obviously I'm going to give you some statistics down below, but I promise you, please don't go off of these as a business. This is probably not for you, but different businesses find different ways, times that work best. Believe it or not, I have a restaurant over in New York that it's the coolest little restaurant. They're only open overnight. They only serve an overnight crowd. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a cool thing. And it's just, that's how they market to their people. That's who they market to. So again, their timing is going to be completely different. They're not going to follow any of this stuff here. Your clients, again, if you're a contractor, that's going to be completely different than, let's say, a healthcare provider. So you really need to use common sense when it comes to when should I be posting. I'll give you some generals here. And again, best time to post on Facebook, Wednesday, 11 a.m. and 1 to 2 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Again, I always look at it like this and I say, well, when am I on Facebook? I mean, I'm the average Joe, right? I don't think there's anything special about me. So, when I get into the office, I'll sit down for a few minutes, okay, that was a stressful drive into work. And I'll just thumb through my Facebook feed real quick before I start rocking it out. Again, little things like that. So I always tell clients, when people are getting ready in the morning, then you got that like horrible drive into work, right? So nobody's hopefully on their phone while they're driving. Then when they get to work, you usually have about an hour buffer right there. Obviously lunchtime, you have a couple hour from 11 to usually about 1 o'clock. You'll see some, traffic pick up on Facebook. And then again, that 4 to 5 as people rock out the end of their day. And then obviously when they get home from usually about 6 to 9, 6 to 10, just depends on the client. We see tons of traffic during that time. So like I said, just use common sense and look at your Facebook insights. That's the biggest thing. Like you really need to understand that data. So look at your insights and Facebook will tell you when people are on, when your clients or your followers are online, because that's going to dictate a lot about not only when you post, but what type of post you do, video, lives, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you check that stuff out. Next up, make sure you're responsive to messages and comments. This is a big one. So a lot of people want to get into Facebook. They want to do Facebook advertising, but they're so busy during the day. They don't have anybody monitoring this. They can't possibly engage all the time. So this is where I always have a conversation with people and I say, listen, you need to have more than just you on your Facebook page. Now, as a sole proprietor, you may say, well, hey, it's just me. And hey, there's nothing I can do about that. But if you have a business, you have a front desk staff, a receptionist, something like that, this is a great time to make sure that you get them engaged. You teach them how you want your business promoted and marketed. You want to make sure that they have the right tools, the right resources to respond appropriately to clients and ultimately earn somebody's business. Really what you've got to make it, and again, I said this before, but you got to make it so easy to do business with you. And I can tell you, if I'm on Facebook and I send a message to a business and they don't respond, I've moved on. I mean, literally within a couple of minutes, I'm not going to sit around and wait. So that's why Facebook has also added some little gamification tools. Like, again, you get a little badge if you are super responsive, stuff like that. So again, just make sure somebody's monitoring the page. And again, not 24/7. most people are reasonable and they'll, if it's during normal business hours. But again, just make sure you respond to them. And even if you can't do it that day, or even if you can't commit to being there right then and there, just don't ignore it. Like, oh, you know what, this person reached out yesterday and I didn't get back to them. Like, don't ignore that. Respond to them. Actually get engaged with that. And again, like I said, if you're quick about it, you'll get that little Facebook badge showing that you're super responsive. As for comments, again, people love it. That's how you foster the sense of community there. Somebody asks you a question, you answer that. That'll help build that trust and confidence with other people that follow your page, or even new people to your page. And so that shows people that you're engaged, that you're willing to help, you're willing to go above and beyond, because again, how many businesses don't, right? So easy way for us to stand out. So have the app installed on your phone. If you get that little alert, I have notifications on mine. So if somebody hits me up, boom, I get a little notification. And if I can, I stop and I answer that. Or, again, my wife or my employees, we have resources to do that. So I would make sure have more than just you is, I guess, the best response. Pro tips, try to avoid political, religion, race, COVID, these no-go zones. Again, I've gotten into some debates with clients and I refuse to do it anymore. But at the end of the day, that's just a best practice. We don't control, obviously, what anybody, including our clients, post. But I will just tell you, those have a high propensity to alienate people online, and they are across the board from websites to Facebook. They're just no-go zones. In fact, depending on your response, you can actually get yourself blocked. I will also make a little note, that is not why I'm blocked. So again, but again, just try to avoid those type of things. It's just best practice. So next up, we'll go into some little fundamentals with different common questions that we get. What's the deal with hashtags? Lots of people ask, oh, should I be hashtagging? How many hashtags? Well, statistically speaking, hashtags have no relevancy on Facebook. They do on Twitter, they do on other platforms. But again, as it pertains to Facebook, they actually receive less engagements than those without. Now, again, that could just be irony. There's so many factors in that. So again, this is just a statistic. But I will tell you from a hashtag perspective, hashtags, some people don't even know what those are. They just think that they need to do them. Hashtags are just quick searches. So that's all that really does. Again, great for Twitter, great for some other social platforms, but for Facebook, not really relative. So it's not built into Facebook's algorithm. So again, you can continue to do them. And especially if you're cross-posting across multiple platforms at the same time, I would certainly not want you to have to take the time to delete hashtags and then add them into other ones. Like, let's keep it simple here. But at the same time, I wouldn't go out of my way to add hashtags either, because again, it's not going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form. Next up, should I pin a post? Sometimes that's annoying. I'll be honest, and I'm just speaking as a consumer here. I don't encourage my clients to do it unless they have an event. If they have an event coming up, I do encourage you to pin posts or something, super, super meaningful, special offers, different things like that. That is worth pinning. But a pin post just keeps something at the very top of the page or at the top of your news feed. So when clients come to your page, that's the first thing they see. I will tell you again, it just causes people to get annoyed more often than not. So again, I would avoid it. I've had clients that have had, and again, you'll see this even in groups. We'll talk about groups in a minute, but you'll see this where they have a pinned post from like 2014, and you're like, is that even relevant anymore? Like that's just so long ago. But again, food for thought. My advice, don't do it, but it is up to you. Next up, how do I promote my page without doing ads? Very common question we get. So here's some ideas on how to promote your page and build followers without paying for ads. So first and foremost, social links in your email signature. I can't tell you how many people don't do this still today. Now, granted, my signature is super long, so I am a hypocrite for saying this because I don't have them in mind. But again, my signature is personal to me. So there you go. But again, I would encourage have your social media links in your signature there. You can invite your personal Facebook connections to like your business page. So that's a really, really easy feature. And again, that is also a part of Facebook's setup process. So if you're following the path, you should be already doing that. But little pro tip, don't forget to have your employees do the same thing. Again, they're there for a reason. You should encourage them to like and follow your page. They should hopefully be sharing your content. So that's a great way to get employees involved and employees engaged and have them have their followers like your page as well. Make sure you have social icons at the top of your website. Again, very, very common miss. Sometimes we'll find it all the way down at the bottom of the footer, but seldom do people actually scroll that far. So that's a missed opportunity. Make sure you have it at the very, very top. We try to include it in what we call the NAP bar, the name, address, phone number. That's an SEO thing. So from website perspective, at the very top, you should always have your address, your phone number, your social, and just whatever means you have to get in contact with you. That should always be at the top of your website to make it easy to do business with you. So don't forget those social icons there. Also too, promote your social links in your email marketing campaigns. I have an entire email that goes out to new clients and leads that encourage them to check in. Hey, like our page, follow our page. We have it at the bottom of all of our email marketing campaigns. So again, we're really, really, really trying to encourage the people to follow us. Join Facebook groups. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. And then run contests. Those are great ones. If you've ever seen those out there, hey, the next person that likes, shares, does this, does that, jumps, 20 feet and does a hula hoop dance on video gets this, Again, there are actually rules, believe it or not, behind Facebook contests. So don't just go arbitrarily run a contest and think it's going to work. You can get yourself in trouble for that. So follow the rules, just do a quick Google search of, Facebook contests rules, and then they'll go through what you got to do to make sure that they're legit. So, but contests are a great way to get people engaged. It gets people sharing posts, inviting users, so on and so forth. So definitely a win there. Next up, videos. I don't know how much we need to go through this because I've said it about 3,000 times in other sessions. But videos. There are 4 billion video views on Facebook every single day. That is just insane to me. That's so much content. It's just crazy. But Facebook's continuing to tweak how they do their algorithm, how they measure people's interest. And they're looking at everything from how long people watch videos, whether there's audio or not audio. I mean, there's so much to this, but I can tell you videos are definitely an engaging feature. I wouldn't go too crazy with them though. Again, we like to have a blend between ours. So we'll post videos, we'll post images, we'll post content. Like we really like to diversify ours. But again, for you as a business, there are entire pages that's all they're dedicated to. And again, I have a lot of news sources, a lot of other marketers that I follow. That's all they post, just nothing but video. So I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but I prefer diversity in my posts. And again, that's typically who I follow. So again, whatever your client, you know your clients best, so whatever they dictate or whatever they demand is what you should go with. All the videos are on autoplay in people's feeds. They're on mute until the viewer manually turns them on. I will just pro tip on Facebook here. Be really sensitive to that. I can't tell you how many meetings I've been in, and then all of a sudden you scroll through that Facebook feed and that video starts blaring. It's like, oh yeah, you're in trouble. You're busted. So do yourself a favor. Again, if you're going to post videos on there, just be sensitive to that. Again, they're on mute. I try to diversify with I don't have audio in all my videos. So sometimes we'll have light music, something like that. So just think that one through. That's why we also don't post videos all the time too. More engaging the video, the more you can entice people to stick around. The longer they view, the longer that engagement is. So again, that's Facebook algorithms looking at that stuff. Next up is live. So yeah, time to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So live videos, they're still a thing. You don't see as many of them anymore. I still have, again, lots of pages that I follow that still do them. But again, it really opens us up. It helps us compete more effectively against these bigger companies. Because why? As a small business, what's the one thing that we have that they don't? We're small, we're family owned, we're more personable. Large companies, they struggle with that. I always use the analogy. I say, hey, who owns Walmart? Some people can actually answer that, but most can't. Amazon, like who's the face behind that? Jeff? Like, again, they're faceless large corporations. But as a small business, guess what? I know that when I go to Trinity Chiropractic, I see Dave and Cheryl. That's who I look forward to seeing. So really pay attention to that stuff. That's one of the advantages we have over small businesses, that personalization. So use that. Facebook Live is a great way to do that. So anybody can jump on, anybody can broadcast to their fans. You can do it live. Again, lots of creative ways in upcoming events, updates to your business, inside looks, Q&A sessions, FAQs. I could go on and on about it. So again, you just got to think outside the box. What does your audience want to hear about? What are common questions you're getting when people come into your business or call you? Those would be great little videos. So I'm sure if you got a front desk person and they're answering the phones and, maybe you're a little out of touch with that, sit them down. Let's go through it. Hey, what do you think is the most common question people ask? And then maybe it's, well, how do I schedule an appointment? What an awesome little Facebook Live to do about how to do business with you. Little things like that can go a long way. So before you go live, this is a great plug for paying attention to your analytics. So Facebook Insights, look and see when people are joining. So if on my followers, if nobody's on at 8 p.m., why would I do a Facebook Live? So just common sense here. So just pay attention to that. And the more people that are online, the more people start viewing, the more people that engage with it, the more Facebook's going to show it to. This is how we expand our audience beyond our followers. So again, if Facebook says, hey, there's a decent amount of engagement going on here, maybe we should show this out to more people. And guess what? Friends of friends start to see it without you having to pay a dime in marketing dollars. So again, great opportunity for you. I would highly encourage, don't dismiss live. That's something I think a lot of people have gotten away from, but really you need to do one. They're fun. So we do them mostly TikToks now, but again, tons of opportunity there. Emoticons, GIFs, use them. They are great attention getters. So we've actually done a case study of our own. So again, I'm usually not too, I haven't always been a fan, let's just say, of, the emoticons and stuff. But I will tell you this, we've done some case studies on our own platforms and our own Facebook feeds or social feeds. And I'll tell you what, the engagement when we use those versus not is higher. It's just a fact. So again, it's eye-catching. It's a dynamic visual. You get people feeling great moods. Again, it complements the content that's in there. So really for the younger audiences, do them. They're total wins. GIFs, again, everybody loves a funny GIF. Have fun with it. That's the biggest tip I can send you. You gotta like them. It communicates emotion. It gets reactions. So have fun. Like I said, diversify your post. Think about what you're putting in there. See if there's an emoji that is relative to that, and go for it. Just see what happens. Schedule posts. Again, this one, just don't forget, this is the biggest tip we can give is, hey, as small business owners, things come up. And I can tell you, I get pulled in about 3,000 different directions a day. I work 15 to 16 hours a day. And sometimes, I'm just so exhausted, I don't want to do a post. And so this is where these scheduling them out really can be a game changer for you. So go through your plan. I always do this, like my wife and I, we sit down on usually at the beginning of the month, usually on a weekend, and we sit down and say, okay, what do we want to post? Are there any fun holidays coming up? What are some maybe common questions that clients are asking us lately? What are some new trends, tips, all that fun stuff? And so we actually sit down for a few hours, we plan it out. I'll create a few posts, I'll get them scheduled out. And then that is my just relief during the week that, I got these done. I don't got to worry about a post today. I can focus on this fire over here and we're good to go. Now, again, we don't want to rely on scheduled posts to do everything. There is some value behind, again, that impromptu post or, that real-time post. So again, scheduling is a great opportunity to diversify and keep things consistent, but also don't be afraid to just do the impromptu. So again, I wouldn't want somebody just to schedule out their entire month and not actually engage in their page. Oftentimes when you schedule out, what we find with clients is that they become disengaged with their page and they stop responding to comments. They stop, really doing what you should be doing on there. So that's why we try to balance this out. I tell clients, like even for our own social plans that we offer to clients, the first thing I tell them is, hey, we are not here to manage your entire page. Listen, I am here to supplement what you do. And this is how we do it. I'm going to post 18 times a month. So typically 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to post on these days and I'm going to take these days. How's that sound? So again, we partner with clients on social. Excuse me. Let's see here. Next up, I promised to talk about groups. This is a big one. This is lots of people are talking about this. Seemingly not many people know how to use them. So let's kind of demystify a few things here real quick. So groups are a place on Facebook to, communicate shared interests. So you see a lot of swap and shops. You see a lot of just general community forums, restaurants, you name it. There's tons and tons and tons of groups out there. So you can create one or you can join one. It's really up to you. So again, if you want to create a group of followers that, maybe you have a shared interest for pickleball in Surprise, fantastic, create a group for that. Again, there could be competing groups and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If people join, they want to join for a reason, so let them. Again, likewise, you can join. If you find a group that interests you, join it. But with that said, statistically, half of consumers on Facebook join a group. So, again, huge followings behind this stuff. According to Facebook, the platform prioritizes content from groups that users engage with frequently. So again, another part of their algorithm is they're showing you feeds from these groups that you're a part of. And again, the more that people engage with different posts, the more that Facebook's going to show those posts up. So this is a great way to basically make a lead generator for your business. So if you're consistently publishing to a group or that audience is reacting, chances are you're probably going to see it. And that's a great thing for you. Now, in groups, this is how you generate leads. And this is a super, super simple system. First and foremost, whenever you join a group, so let's just say you join a group. When you're going there, you need to make sure most groups have rules. And so for businesses, we got to be really sensitive to that because they'll kick you out. The people that moderate these groups, some of them get on huge power trips and let's just not even go there. So point being, pay attention to the rules. Some of them will say, oh, you can only post about your business on Wednesdays. Well, great. Then put a little task on your schedule or calendar and just say, hey, on Wednesdays, I'm going to go and share my business posts into this group. So, pay attention to that. Easiest ways when you go into Facebook, just use your search bar. I always say search by geography first. So if you're in Glendale, search, just Glendale, Arizona. You'll see all of the different groups. There's a little tab for groups up there at the very top of the page. So just click tabs and look at all the different groups and they'll actually show you how many people are a part of them. I think I'm a part of probably 40, 50 groups. I don't even know anymore. And again, for a variety of things, most of which business development, that type of stuff. But some of these groups have 100, 200, 300,000 people in them. So again, great opportunity to get yourself in front of individuals that might not otherwise know about your business, if that makes sense. So great for selling products, creating influence, providing information to the public, sharing facts, publishing white papers, sharing ebooks, infographics. You can promote coupons, discounts, and most importantly, share your page. So just a great, great, great way to get the word out there and to share what you're doing. Again, another great one for nonprofits, and this is always a good one to help build that, again, sense of community is, if you're doing a partnership with a nonprofit that's coming up, great way to share your business into that group and get awareness for that nonprofit at the same time. That usually trumps all of their rules in there saying you can't promote your business. Again, you're benevolent, you're helping a nonprofit. So, and then in exchange for that, you get a little plug on your business. It's a win-win for everybody. So pay attention to that. Make sure you join some groups, make sure you're sharing in there. Biggest tip that I can tell you, and this is what creates engagement, same stuff that you're going to post on your page, you should be sharing your business page into there. You should be sharing the posts from your business page. If you join as an individual and not your business, when you're sharing as an individual, that really means you're not really sharing your business. So I always make it a point. I go into my business page, I click share into a group, and then you'll see the options that come up when you click the share button. Then you share into a group. And then again, just pick the group, search it, do whatever you got to do. I keep a list of the top 10 that I like to do. And there you go. So again, generate your top 10, figure out who engages most with your posts and go for it. Again, great way to build visibility. So I know that's a ton of information really, really quick. And the reason I just wanted to open this up to a lot of questions today. So this is usually the one that we get a lot of engagement on. So who has questions?